Okay, here is a neat little question. There are some birds in two trees. 3/7 of the birds are in the first tree and the rest are in the second tree. 52 birds fly away from the first tree. A quarter of the birds fly away from the second tree, and there are now 2/3 of the birds left in total. And we're asked how many birds were in the second tree at the start. Well, what I'm going to do is to do this exactly as I did when I first, scribbled it out on a piece of paper. And you'll also see where I decided to change the way that I was drawing things. So this is what I first did. Okay. We're told 3/7 of the birds are in the first tree and the rest in tree 2. Okay, so tree 1, tree 2, and we're going to do 3 parts for tree 1. And if tree 1 has 3 parts, tree 2 must have 4 for the total number of parts to be 7. Okay, so that's 3 of the 7 parts, 4 of the 7 parts. So far, so good. Then we're told that 52 birds fly away from the first tree. Okay, so 52 birds fly away. Okay. I don't know I can't mark that on this bar in any useful way because I don't know what size that is in relation to the bar at all. So I'm just writing it down. Okay. But we do know that a quarter of the birds fly away from the second tree. Well, that's much easier to do. Okay, so that's great. A quarter fly away. So that's one of these quarters here. And there are now 2/3 of the birds left in total. And okay, so I'm going to need to subdivide this to figure out what's going to be 2/3. And this is when I decided that it would be easier to draw this in a single bar. Now, my preference, I often draw 2 bars, what we call a comparison model, even when 1 bar would do, because I usually find this clearer. But in this case, I think it's better to draw it as a single bar. And that's what you should do when you're doing a bar model. If it's not working out, redraw it, do something else. Right, so we're going to draw a single bar, and we're starting off with 2, 4, 6, 7 parts. Okay, because we were dealing in sevenths. And we have 3 of them. That's the first tree. Okay, and then here we have the second tree. So far, so good. Okay, I'm going to put in the parts here. Right, now what are we told? Well, 52 of the birds fly away from the first tree. Well, again, I can't really deal with that information yet. So I'm just going to, again, 52, going to fly off. All right. But this bit I can deal with, and we know that that's one of these parts. Okay, one of these quarters. Right, there we go. So that's all well and good. Now what? Well, we are told that after this happens, there are now 2/3 of the birds left in total. Well, okay. Well, we've got 7 parts. I can't usefully divide 7 by 3. I'm going to have to divide up the parts. So I'm actually going to divide each part into 3. Okay. So each of them gets divided into 3. There we go, giving me 21 parts. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that this is, because I'm going to deal with this as all of the birds, regardless of whether they are in tree 1 or tree 2. So this is all of the birds, and we know that there are 21 parts altogether. Okay. So what are we told? There are now 2/3 of the birds left in total. Well, I know that 21 divided by 3, so 21 divided by 3 is 7. So that's equal, which is equivalent to 1/3 of the birds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 1/3 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 2/3 there. Okay. And we're told that there's 2/3 of the birds left in total. Well, I could shade that in if I wanted. These are the birds that are left. Okay. The birds left in the tree. Okay. And what that shows me is, because I know that these are all the birds that must be gone. I've already accounted for these. These are the quarter of the birds in tree 2 that left. So this part here must be the 52. Let's go with that. So this here must be 52. And if we divide 52 by the number of parts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 52 divided by 4 gives us 13. So I now know that each of these parts has a value of 13. Now, what are we asked? We are asked how many birds were in the second tree at the start. Well, this is the second tree. We need to know how many parts there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We then have 12 parts, okay, times 13 equals 156. And that's our answer. 156 is how many birds there were in the second tree at the start.